Hey everyone, my name is Megan and this is Painted and Distressed. This is one of my last Christmas videos in my Christmas series, and today I'm going to show you how I turned my front patio into a winter wonderland using mainly Dollar Tree items. So the first project, of course, we need a welcome sign. So I'm going to take this sign from Dollar Tree and I'm just going to cut the strips. Any sign will do that's a square. I just chose this particular one because it already had the slats, the lines in the slats, so I didn't have to really do anything but cut them. And so once I had all of them cut, and then I painted half of them red and half of them green, just using my folk art chalk paint in antique green, and then the red was Waverly Crimson. And then with my Cricut, I just cut out different verbiage, which you'll see in a minute, which this does not have to be done using a Cricut. You can easily use a marker pen, or a paint pen rather, or anything like that. And then I just have a bunch of these little wooden cutouts from Dollar Tree that I'm just going to be painting to go onto each of the signs. Kind of made them correspond sort of with each of the signs, if that makes sense, hopefully. And so I'm just, of course, just painting them just to make them look a little cuter. And then the top of the sign, this is a round a sign that I got from Dollar General for $1, and then I'm just painting it using my antique green folk art paint, and of course my heat gun, which I love, and it is listed down below. I got it off Amazon. And then I just used my Cricut again just to say welcome to the North Pole. And so now I'm just attaching all of the little pieces, the wood pieces that I just painted. And I did also use some white paint to make everything look a little distressed and like it has been out in the snow, since this is supposed to look like a winter wonderland. And I also made each one of the signs kind of correspond with the things that I made to go into my winter wonderland. So then I just had this old wood beam that my father so kindly made a point at the bottom so it'd be easy for me to stick into the ground. And then I just I hot glued all of the signs to it, added a large ornament from Dollar Tree, and then a little greenery because of course, why not? And then this project was done. You're gonna have to stay tuned to the very end to see everything put together and how cute everything turns out. This next project is actually a repeat. I made this last year, but I didn't have a YouTube channel last year. I actually made all of these projects. I made a winter wonderland last year for my front porch as well. And I just had to share because I think it turned out really cute. But this project, we're making a snowman. And so I have the full video. It is linked down below. I made it in July. And I just took 3 different size bowls from Dollar Tree in their catering section, and I just hot glued each one together. Now, if you live in an area with inclement climate, I would recommend before you hot glue the bowls together is definitely put some rocks or something like that inside, because it will, if you have heavy winds, it will tip over. And then also in the video, I show how I made everything in full detail, such as this hat and what I used to make the hat. With the little eyes, these are just buttons that I painted black. And then for the nose, I used a carrot I had left over from I think it was from Easter. And then I just used half wood beads for his smile. And then in the crafter's square, I am using these wood tins, not wood, these metal tins that I painted black to use for the buttons. And of course, obviously I used the nautical rope to wrap this. Now I made the snowman that I made last year. I used a microfiber cloth from the automotive section at Dollar Tree. I used several of them to wrap the bowls instead of nautical rope. And at the very end, you'll see that very cute snowman as well. And I used felt and different things like that, but I used the same hat and basically the same process. But this particular one, I just made a little more neutral. And this next project, we're going to make a letters to Santa mailbox. So I just took one of the mailboxes from Dollar Tree and I spray painted it red. And then in the front, I'm going to cut a slit in it so that way we can put letters in it. Now, again, I made this last year and my daughter absolutely loved it. I told her that the letters, that she puts in there are magical, and it goes to Santa Claus and he sees everything. And I did this for the neighbor kids as well, and it was a real hit, and it's super cute. And so I just also used my Cricut, but again, last year I didn't have a Cricut, so I did not use a Cricut, and I just made my own stencils and different things like that. And so you do not need a Cricut for any of these projects, of course. And none of these have to be outside either. They can most definitely be inside. But I just used my Cricut and just cut out on the front letters to Santa, a stencil, and then I'm just painting it on. And then this one just says North Pole Post. Oh, post office. And then I hot glued the actual mailbox closed. And then I took some spray Gorilla Glue, and then I just added a bunch of fake snow to the top of this because we have to make it look like like it's been out in the snow, of course. And this Gorilla Glue worked really, really well. But I also use the Dollar Tree spray glue. And it works just as good. Now I have this dowel rod I got from Home Depot, but you can get it at Walmart as well. And then I just painted stripes on it, the red and white and green, by using masking tape or painter's tape to separate it. And then I just added a little ornament from Dollar Tree on the top. And then I did put 2 holes in the back of the mailbox with some twine, and then and a bunch of hot glue, and that's how I attached it to the pole. And so this project, I am going to be making some presents, some fake presents. So I'm taking these racks from Dollar Tree from the kitchen section, and I'm just basically folding them in half. And I'm going to attach these 2 together. Now I'm going to show you 2 different ways of how to make these presents. And again, these can go indoors or outdoors. I'm just putting mine outdoors. This is the most sturdy way that I have made them. And I'm just attaching the 2 using zip ties. And they're really sturdy this way. And I put lights also in the inside of them. And these are so cute, but it's so easy to make because this is all it is to it. And then you can make different sizes. And I do show you, I made a smaller one as well. I'll show you in just a minute. But then once I have all the edges zip tied, then I add some mesh. Now I had this left over from last year I got from Joann's, but there's all kinds from Dollar Tree or, Joann's you get more, for you actually get a better deal and you get a lot more, but I loved this mesh. And let me tell you, I made these last year as well, and they have held up in rainstorms and all kinds. I mean, it just rained here the other day and I had them outside and they are perfectly fine. Obviously I don't have the lights in them while it was raining or anything, but pretty amazing how well these hold up. This mesh is a really, really strong material as well. and I think that's what also helped. So after I just attached all the sides with the mesh, then I'm just adding some extra embellishments on them, of course, because why not? So I'm just adding some ribbon that I thought would kind of coordinate well with the presents, and then I just kind of made my own little bow out of the different ribbon to go on top. And then because I'm kind of a little extra, I added some pine cones and some berries and stuff as well, just because they have to be cute. And also I make 3 presents and I wanted them all to go together and coordinate. And so that's why I added the burlap on the top, because one of the presents is going to have burlap. And then now for the smaller present, I'm going to take one of the cooling racks and my miter shears, which are linked down below. I got from Amazon as well. And I'm going to cut it in half. Now, this does take a little bit of pressure, but these are not the strongest of cooling racks. I mean, they're only $1. So just have to work with it a little bit and kind of bend it back and forth, and then they come apart fairly easily. And so with the 2 halves now, then I just did the same thing as with the bigger presents, and I just folded them on the top there. And now I had some of them kind of come apart a little bit, and so just for a little added strength, then I just added a little bit of twine just to ensure that they do stay together and don't fall apart, because they aren't the strongest of metals. And so then I'm just folding them in half, as I mentioned, and then to connect them, same thing as the other way, I'm just using some zip ties to connect them. And then I cover these with mesh as well. Now this one, I used the same mesh as the first present. And now the smallest present, we're going to use wood dowels. Now, I made mine using wood dowels last year, but I'm having a very hard time finding wood dowels at Dollar Tree now. So these are just ones that I had left over. But you're going to need to make 2 squares, so using 4 dowels, and then you're going to need, and then on one of the squares, then you're just going to take 4 more dowels and hot glue those, as you see there, to the corner of each one. And then just take the other square and attach it to the top. And it's super easy. I mean, there's no rocket science or skill needed with any of these. You just need to make sure that they are even, because you will have kind of a wonky, uneven box. But otherwise, very easy. But this way is not as sturdy. And I'm using the 6-inch dowel rods. And then I added some extra twine on the corners of these, because again, it's not as sturdy. You can add extra dowels in between each square as well for a little extra sturdiness. But these do hold up. Once you put the mesh on them, then it does hold up. And so I'm just taking some of this burlap mesh that I've had forever. I got it from Hobby Lobby. And I just thought this would be a good neutral that tied in with the other mesh that I had. I have a mesh from Dollar Tree, but none of it was Christmassy enough that I had it. I don't know why I chose the black and white check, which I love, don't get me wrong, but I wanted my winter wonderland to be very Christmassy. Anyways, not that you guys needed to know any of that. So once I cover this one, I added some extra embellishments, a little bow on top, and then this project was done. In this project, I had quite a few Dollar Tree trees left over, and also in my greenery hacks video where I made the cone trees using the cone tree form from Dollar Tree. A lot of people in the comments mentioned that they were unable to find that cone form, and so this is a great alternative for that. I just got an emergency cone from Dollar Tree and I wrapped it using their, excuse me. First, actually, what I did was, and I didn't show it there, but I did spray paint it green. And then I take the Dollar Tree garland and I just wrap it around the entire thing. Now, I did give it a little bit of a haircut, and then I did spray it with some snow spray, or you can just use spray paint, white spray paint or anything like that. And then I just embellished it with some of their berries. And then on the bottom, I just added some Epsom salt just to make it look like there was a little extra snow on the bottom. And then with this tree, I'm going to make it a Grinch tree. I absolutely love that movie. And I didn't do any Grinch themed decor this year, but so I'm just taking one of the Dollar Tree trees and I just kept it all bunched up, and then except for the top part, and then of course I added just a little ornament from Dollar Tree, a little red ribbon around it, and then just these fun pom-poms, all from Dollar Tree, of course, because I thought it would give it a little more character and a little more Grinchy looking. And then the bottom stake is very easy just to put in the ground outside. And then this one, of course, I had to make a Charlie Brown tree because I love that movie as well, Charlie Brown Christmas. And so because the fake Dollar Tree trees already look so much like Charlie Brown trees, all I did was just unravel it and then just added a little red ornament to the top. And then this one, I'm just taking 2 Dollar Tree trees and I'm just zip tying them together. I basically made all of the branches on each tree go one way, and then that way when I zip tied them, it would give me a fuller tree. And so that's all I did, and then I'm just unraveling it. And I'm sure you've seen this a million times on YouTube, but I had to add it, of course, to my tree farm. And then I had these white trees. These were left over, and so there's 3 of them. So I just combined them all together just like I did the previous one. But I did, because the white was just a little too white for my taste, for my little winter wonderland. So I did spray paint it green, and then I added some white spray paint to the front of it, or to the entire thing, and then that way kind of blended in with the other trees. And so now I, of course, have to make some gingerbread people. So I'm just taking some foam board from Dollar Tree and this big felt gingy that my daughter created. Just one of those packs. Those are also from Dollar Tree. And I just traced it. And then I'm just cutting basically to make it bigger because I wanted them to be bigger. So I just used that as a guide basically. And then I just took my Waverly chalk paint in hazelnut, and then I gave it 2 coats, and then just using some scrap fabric, I made a little dress for this one. And then using the cloth from the automotive section, I'm just giving a little trim to the bottom of it, of the dress, so it's a little more Christmassy looking. And these, I would say these particular things are probably only good for one season. I made these last year as well, and they're so easy and quick to make that I just tossed them last year. And but they're so easy to make that it doesn't take much to make them. And so then for the hair, I'm just using 1 strand of the nautical rope, and I hot glued it to her head, and then I'm just giving her little braided pigtails. And of course, little bows in her hair and a little candy cane. And then for the boy, I just, the same scrap fabric I had, I just made a little scarf for him. And then these little felt snowflakes that are from Dollar Tree, and I put them on her dress as well, and I used those for his buttons, so they match. And then of course Dollar Tree buttons painted black for their faces. And then I got out my puffy paint and I gave him some extra character, so it looks like a big huge gingerbread cookie made out of foam. And his head is completely uneven, but you know what? No one's gonna notice. And then this last and final project for the final reveal, I'm gonna make some pool noodle candies. Now, last year I actually made the pool noodle lollipops, but I know there's 1,000,001 videos out there, so I just decided to make the little candies. So I just cut the pool noodles in different sizes and lengths, and then using also, this is all from Dollar Tree, the gift wrap, I just wrapped them, took some, they call it clear gift wrap, but it's cellophane. It's also from Dollar Tree, and then and that also kind of makes them weatherproof as well. And then just a little ribbon on the end, and then that was it. And here is the final look. So here is our Welcome to North Pole sign. Of course, we had to start with this. I just love how this turned out. And this is a wreath, all Dollar Tree products. And here it is. I ordered fake snow. You can get that at Walmart, Michael's, but I ordered it from Amazon. I will have a link down below if anybody's interested. It is so much fun to play with. My 5-year-old daughter absolutely loves it. She absolutely loves this mailbox as well. I told her it's magical, and so she loves putting letters in it and having so much fun. And here's our gingies. Now I put them in planters, but they can easily just go directly into the ground. And I do spray my outside decor with Rust-Oleum Clear spray paint because it is a sealer and it does help protect everything. And here's our tree farm with all of our little trees. And that Santa, I made him the same exact way I made the snowman. And it's all Dollar Tree products or supplies. And there's our lighted presents. Now, I did not put lights in them because it has been raining here in Southern California, which it never does, but it has been. So just for safety, everything's wet out there. And I made this Santa list using craft paper from Dollar Tree. It was very easy to make. And our magical mailbox again, just to see the front of it. And the greenery, of course, is from Dollar Tree as well, as I mentioned before. And this is all Dollar Tree garland and ornaments and different items like that. They're all from Dollar Tree. The ribbon is from Hobby Lobby. And this sign I did not use a Cricut for. It was very easy to make, and that was from Dollar Tree. And the little sled is from Dollar Tree, and I just added the wreath hangers for the little endings on them. And then this sign I used, these are from Dollar Tree as well, that I just put different scrap paper on. And then this sign, of course, is not from Dollar Tree, but I love it. And these are the lollipops I made last year out of pool noodles and masking tape, colored masking tape, all from Dollar Tree too. I promise I'm not sponsored by Dollar Tree. It's just so much fun, all the things that they have that you can make. And here's the snowman, the white one I made last year, and it has held up ever since last year. And there's the one that we made today, and the candies. That present is also from last year as well. And I used the wooden dowel rods. And this is from a previous video, but I do want to say a very Merry Christmas to everybody. I thank you all so much for your continued support of my channel. And I would love to know what your plans are for Christmas in the comments down below. And if you don't mind subscribing to my channel so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos, and make sure to give this video a huge thumbs up. It does help my channel get noticed just a little bit more in the YouTube algorithm. I hope everybody has a happy holiday, and make sure you are safe and have a good one. I have one more Christmas video coming out. It's just some last minute procrastinating gift ideas, and that'll be coming out in a couple days. But if I don't catch you then, I hope you have a very happy holiday, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!